the changes to the Blade of Seldor allowing you to permanently charge the blade with 1,000 crystal shards, and with the recent updates to the gauntlet, I've seen a ton of people trying to learn it. I'd like to share some of the things I've discovered just from doing the boss a decent amount of times. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'm nearing 300 kills, and I've found out a few things that could help secure your kills if you're struggling. This isn't going to be a full gauntlet guide, this is just going to be for some semi-experienced people that already have a good feel for the mechanics. I'm not going to fully dive into the preparation phase, but this is how I start every run. I make a lap around the bottom of the base, and generally this will provide me with all or most of the materials for armor, potions, and some food. While I'm near this bottom edge, I also light up the potential boss rooms to see what I'm working with. There's almost always at least one boss on this side. My second trip is to finish up food and kill the 2 demi-bosses. Also, if I need to grab anything else for the armor potions, I get that here too. I usually end up with full tier 1 armor, 2 tier 3 weapons, 2 3 to 4 doses of potions, and 25 food. This is the setup that I use that provides consistent kills. Getting 10 to 11 minute kills is better than spending 7 minutes to get your shit slapped because you're not prepped properly. If you're confident in your tornado dodging abilities, start sneaking in a few attacks here and there. This is especially easy with a bow and staff. With the halberd, you kind of have to make sure that pathing isn't going to take you into the lava. I like to try to wait to eat until I switch weapons. Normally I end up wasting like a tick just trying to put on a new weapon and change my offensive prayer anyways, so I eat, switch weapons, put on the prayer and attack, and I think I only miss out on like 1 tick. Another time I like to eat is when tornadoes are really close to me. If I'm not going to be able to attack, I might as well top off my HP. Be confident with your clicks. I used to spam click and it caused so many deaths because I was just zigzagging around everywhere. Be confident, click well, and you'll path correctly. Get sloppy, spam click, and you'll get slapped by tornadoes. Manage your inventory. I personally like to eat from the bottom up so that when the intense phases come at the end, my food will all be close to the top by my pots and weapon. I've even seen people put their weapon and potions in the middle of their inventory so that when they use the F key to swap to their prayer book, their cursor's right over protect from range or mage. The 4 square method. The last phase of Hunlif is by far the hardest. Most people can manage to do the rest of the boss, but get overwhelmed in the last phase, which is completely understandable. Having 4 tornadoes chasing you while you dodge very fast lava on the floors, all while trying to eat and DPS your heart out, is a lot to grasp. I've noticed that in the last phase, if you stand on either of the 2 tiles 4 squares from the door, there's only one possible floor pattern that can spawn under your feet, which is the pattern that covers 1/4 of the room. And even that only has a 25% chance to spawn. If it does spawn under your feet, you just have to move 1 tile over to the other square. This does get a little bit more complicated if you're using the halberd, because you can't quite reach the Hunlif if he's backed all the way into the corner like you want him to be. But if you keep the Hunlif 2 to 3 squares away from the wall, you can force yourself to stand in that 4th square still, but dodging tornadoes becomes a bit more risky. This is why I've started to try running with the staff and bow combo, plus sneaking in hits during tornado phases is much more possible. And finally, we have moving the Hunlif. This can be very risky, so I'd recommend only doing it if you really think you have to. Sometimes you get teleported in and he's like smack dab in the center, and that's like the shittiest position ever. You can't dodge tornadoes at the end. Sometimes, if that's the case in the last phase, you'll have to dodge 4 tornadoes in a little square that's like 4x3, and it's just very difficult. So, if you have to, I definitely recommend practicing moving him a little bit, which is easiest in the normal gauntlet. This box around his feet is his trample range. In order to see that, go to RuneLight to NPC indicators and then type in his name and select the highlight tile option. Basically, if you move right as he attacks, which of course he's inside of lava, but if you move right as he attacks, he won't trample you because he's already in the middle of his current mage or range attack. Whoops. Let me get rid of this tornado really quick and maybe I can give you an example here. Go under his feet. There, he moved. He doesn't always move side by side. He mainly moves diagonally, I feel like. Sometimes he basically like skates across the ground, and sometimes he'll move and then you get out from underneath him and he will move right back into the same spot that you moved him from. So it's risky. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it's necessary if he is in a really, really bad spot. Those are my tips for the gauntlet. As I said, I'm definitely not an expert or a professional gauntlet runner, but these are little bits that I've picked up on during my grind so far. I also use this counter. It's very clean and helps keep you on top of your prayer switches, especially in the last phase when shit starts getting crazy. This was made by Iron the Jewel using Kai's voice. Links to their Twitch channels can be found in the description, as well as my links if you'd like to watch this content live. Thanks everyone for watching, and good luck on the salad, blade, and pet.